So I'm sitting in my car on my lunch break, man. Well, the job had a little party thing, a little party event. And I'm pretty sure some of y'all jobs or corporations where y'all have worked in the past, or maybe currently have done this, where they'll throw events and have, these gatherings. They might celebrate the birthdays for the month or the employee of the month or whatever, and they'll bring like food or catering or something like that. And they'll have a feast, and it's supposed to be like a time for everybody to communion, everybody to get together and have a good time and socialize. And a lot of people when they hear the word socialize, their blood pressure go up, their hearts start beating fast. And I won't say mine is intense. It's not that bad of a situation, but I do find myself looking for the exit door when these type of situations arise. So today, I'm just sitting outside, and they do it every month, man. Um, just last month I did a live stream where I was, talking to the people on the live stream, and basically it was that same day. Did the same thing. I got my food because you got to stick around for the little team huddle and stuff where they talk about all the stuff, the accomplishments, or what the growth that the company's doing, all that type shit. And then they'll bring up, valuable employees for the month and stuff like that. Everyone claps, hey, yeah. Then they'll bring up some other stuff, and then boom, and then the people that were mentioned, they go first in line, grab the plate. Everybody else in line, just a big scene where people just talking and standing in line and stuff. And I'm pretty like semi-popular at my job. Not that I try to be, it just kind of always plays out this way. And I've been working here for some months now, going on 8 months. So it's not like I'm, completely just shut down or just super introverted or whatever. But like I said, situations like this, it kind of exposes my true nature. Like I really don't like to be around a lot of people for real. Like I'm better like with one-on-one conversations or maybe even small group, and that's for a certain time. Like my social battery is not invincible. Like it has a certain threshold, a certain limit. After a while, man, or once a certain amount of people is around, a certain capacity of people around, I kind of go into shutdown mode. So right now, for instance, I'm in my car. I'm in my car and like maybe 4 or 5 minutes away from the job site. Like I'm not even just in the parking lot at the job site. I'm pretty much got my plate, right? Got the food on it. Matter of fact, this is, what I'm saying? That's a turkey. I ain't even eat it all. I ate the mashed potatoes, mac and cheese and stuff. I ate a little bit of the turkey. But anyways, got my plate, got my car, whipped out the parking lot, and then just went down the corner, went down the road. Now I'm under the shade at another place, another job site. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's just how it be sometimes. But yeah. So I just wonder how many people can relate to this. You know. Now there's been a couple times I have stuck around and stayed in the mix. Grab my plate and I eat right outside where other people are at and stuff. But see, that was back around the time when I started. There was these two other black guys and stuff. And my job was mainly predominantly Spanish and Latinos and stuff. So like I said, I'm cool with them to a degree. The women kind of fuck with me to a degree or whatever. But like I said, a lot of times that's just in the workplace type of setting. A lot of times women that work aboard and stuff, or what I'm saying, they might generally kind of fuck with you to a degree. But like I said, I don't get too comfortable with that thinking like, oh, we really friends and stuff. Because y'all know coworkers not your friends. You know what I'm saying? Because there been instances, not with me, but I've heard of guys saying, they thought a girl was cool with them and stuff. Just speaking on specifically women as a guy. You thought a woman was cool with you, kind of got over yourself a little bit, got ahead of yourself, and you try to like chop it up and kick it outside of work or bring up the ideas like the girl go ghost. Like crickets, or she might be one this way one day, the next day acting like she barely even know you. Sometimes it be like that. A lot of times a woman be nice to you and stuff. Usually married women or women in relationships sometimes, or it's like it depends on what's going on at the house, how they'll treat you at work. The man acting in order, doing everything right, they probably gonna act cold against you. If they seeking a little bit of attention, approval, the next day, boom, they might, show their face a little bit, kind of tease you a little bit. It it'd be really tricky with women. But people in general are wishy-washy, man, especially in the workplace. So that's why people always bring up the fact that coworkers are not your friends. But like I could have stayed, like right now, I could have stayed at the job site and sat outside and stuff, and you know, even my little quote work wife thing, you know what I'm saying? Not proud of it, but it just kind of happened. She's out there, whatever. I got my plate, you know. I went out the door, I seen her right there. There's another girl sitting across from her. I'm cool with her or whatever. Both married women, by the way. But I just kept on walking to the car, you know what I'm saying? Just played it cool, calm, cool, and collected. You know, I'm not frantically walking to the car anxiously and shit like, you know, like I'm scared. You know, I gotta play it cool. Maybe I got an important phone call to tend to or something. You know, you gotta play it off, man. The whole time you just like, man, you just not comfortable in certain social settings or social situations. You know, I could have stayed, sat out there, but then a lot more people would have came out there and stuff, and you know, people watching you eat and stuff. I don't like being watched while I eat. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the prettiest eater, and I don't really care to be. So, but I know how to conduct myself and have manners when people are around. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't care to be around a lot of people, man. Then you know, it might get a little awkward. And like I said, you know, I'm one of the few black people and stuff, and like I said, it was different back then when I had these two other niggas or two other black dudes that kind of chopped up with if I wanted to talk to somebody. You know, you got your inside jokes, you got stuff you can relate to. When you're around people you just can't really relate to fully like that, y'all gonna be cool, but it's only so much y'all gonna talk about. And then you're gonna find yourself kind of being third wheel. You know, they're talking amongst themselves in Spanish and shit in this situation. And you kind of just sitting there, you know what I'm saying, kind of fiddling on your phone. Hey diddle diddle, the boy in the fiddle, you know what I'm saying, type shit. Just trying to play it cool, play it off. So I already know how it go. But see, somebody like me, sometimes I challenge myself to put myself in a social situation like that, and to keep myself calm and not be so tense. Sometimes I do that, but sometimes I just rather just avoid it altogether and just remind myself there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a loner. There's nothing wrong with going to my, you know, eating by myself and eating in my car. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, I pay these car notes. I pay this fucking high ass insurance. Say, I'm gonna sit in this car whenever the fuck I feel like it. That's how I look at it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You know, and there's a lot of people that like to beat on themselves and stuff like that. So I don't think nothing wrong with you or whatever. But sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I get that anxious thought, that nerve wracking thought that somebody's on to me, like somebody's watching me, like, oh, you know, because sometimes people genuinely do be they do be impressed by you. They low key like might look up to you and stuff, or somebody might low key like you a little bit, and they might low key be watching your moves and stuff, and just kind of recognize a repeating pattern. So he always goes away, or he's always missing whenever we have these events. He's always disappearing. You know what I'm saying? Like people watch, you know, people are observers and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You yourself, you watch stuff, so other people do the same thing. You know, not that it fucking matters, but you know, sometimes I'd be like, man, you get that thought that people are kind of on to you, that they're coming on to you and stuff. You know, just I don't want it to be obvious that I'm some kind of loner for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? You know, people have a good impression of you. You kind of want to keep a good impression up in the air about you. You know, you don't want to, you definitely don't want to be seen as a fucking loser, especially around a lot of women. You know, it's just how it is, man. But at the end of the day, man, it is what it is. I really don't give a damn. I'm just chilling, man. Like I said, I'm pretty much around the corner from my job site, man. And yeah, I just thought I'd talk about this topic, man. And yeah. So, how many people can relate to this? Just kind of like running away from certain social events and social settings and stuff, and being off to yourself. Like, the one last month was even worse. They had all these people from HR and CEOs coming to the job and stuff, and it's such a big deal to them, and they wanted us to introduce ourselves. Yeah, when they come around, you know, introduce yourself, tell them how long you've been working here, all this. Like, I'm like, man, I for damn sure Forrest Gump not the hell out that bitch, man. I ran the hell out that motherfucker. I was not about to stay up in the mix of that. And I was able to avoid it, but there's only so much you can avoid, you know what I'm saying? Actually, they got somebody from HR here today. Only one person though. Last month it was multiple people, but today I think it's one person saying that he's gonna go around and collect like 3 groups of people and kind of get a rundown of how everybody feel about the job and their experience. You know what I'm saying? So shit like that, man. You know, these jobs be trying to force everybody to be social people, man, social butterflies and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You know, this world is social. You know, you have to be social in this world, but everybody not comfortable with talking to strangers and, you know, being forced in social groups and settings and stuff, man. But it's just it's a part of being in the world. Other than that, man, you just in your room or your crib on your couch, you're sitting by yourself. When you walk out that door, you gotta expect to probably socialize at some point in the day. You know, now some jobs, granted, some jobs you can get away with it more, being more quiet and kept to yourself versus other jobs. Now some jobs you ass can get terminated for not opening up enough. You can get terminated for being too much reserved and kept to yourself. It's true, man. A lot of people have said it. You know, they could terminate you for that and then claim, you know, they let you go for another reason whole times because you act like you didn't want to click and mingle with everybody else. Some people really do take offense to that. And best believe the bosses and supervisors, they do be sitting back watching. They'll take notice. It ain't just the co-workers. The supervisors and the, you know, team leads and stuff, yeah, they'll be sitting back noticing you, man. Don't think, you know, you going unknown with that because they definitely gonna figure you out at some point. You can only get away with it so long. So that's why I say sometimes I be getting that anxiety, like, you know, but see, I kind of get away with it because I my moments when I'm an extrovert is just so intense sometimes. And enough people at the job can vouch for me and stuff, you know. um, so I could act introverted and they'll just think something wrong with me or I'm just having an off day. Whole time that's really my true nature. Or probably part of me. Maybe I am extrovert to a degree. I don't know. But I know for damn sure I don't like being around a lot of people all day. But yeah, man, I just thought I'd talk about this topic, man. Go ahead and end the video, man. I'm out.